Welcome to the third episode of Author Highlight with Terri. And I'm Terri Gillespie. And next to me is Tanya Agler. And we're going to get to know her in a minute. But first, we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping. And the first thing is, I wanted to let you know, be sure and like this video, because the more likes, the more people on YouTube will see this video. And we want people to know about Tanya, and we want people to know about Tanya's newest book. So yay. So be sure and like, comment, and there'll be other benefits for that as well. And then also subscribe to this YouTube channel, because there are good benefits there too. So welcome, Tanya.
Thank you so much for having me, Terri.
It's great to see you.
Hi, I'm Tanya Agler. I'm the author of The Sheriff's Second Chance, Arranger for the Twins, and my new book, The Soldier's Unexpected Family, is coming out. And I'd like to give a special shout out to my wonderful husband, who is a pharmacist and is my biggest fan, and our 4 kids, including our twins, Cupcake and Chunk. Then I'd also like to give a huge...
What was that? Cupcake and Chunk?
Chunk. Those are their nicknames on social media. That's what everyone calls them. Even at church, they're known as Cupcake and Chunk. One person actually came up to me and said, I forgot their real names because I see them as Cupcake and Chunk all the time. And I'd also like to give a shout out to my critique partner, who has read like every version of all my books. So hi, Janine. And
Hi, Janine.
A huge thank you to my writing sisters, who are a group that have helped each other, and we pray for each other, and we talk to each other and email, and we keep up with each other's writing news. So hi to the writing sisters.
Yay, writing sisters. I love writing sisters.
And please like and comment Terry's page. That way, for great book recommendations.
Yes, yes. Including this one. So let me give you a little bit of info on Tanya. Tanya is an award-winning author, and she moved often during her childhood and settled in Georgia, where she writes sweet contemporary romance novels, which feature small towns, family, and pets, and we're going to hear more about that, and themes of second chances and hopes. A graduate of the University of Georgia with degrees in journalism and law, she lives with their wonderful husband, their 4 children, including Cupcake and Chunk, and a lovable new rescue beagle named Linus. She's represented by Don Dowdle and the Blue Ridge Literary Agency. She's currently at work on actually multiple sequels. When she's not writing, Tanya loves classic movies, walking, and a good cup of tea. So I've known Tanya for several years when we met at our ACFW Northwest Georgia chapter. And I was just very impressed with Tanya. She's just brilliant. So I love tapping her little brain. So, I noticed, I checked your website, and you have made some really nice updates on there. And also I noticed that you're now going to offer a newsletter to your readers, which is really cool. So tell us a little bit about that. And what are the special gifts?
Thank you. Yes, I've been renovating my website, trying to update with fresh colors and new vibrancy. Sometimes when we can't make huge changes, we can make little changes, and that spurs on more exciting things ahead and gives us hope that there's hope around the future and hope around the corner. And my newsletter comes out once a month. I try not to inundate too much, but it's got some author news as well as always a recipe. This month's recipe was toffee pie. And in the past, there's been recipes for my macaroni and cheese, banana pudding, some fun stuff like that. And there's usually a giveaway. This month, I'm giving away a copy of my debut novel, The Sheriff's Second Chance. And also this month, anyone who emails me, if they pre-ordered my book, I'll send them a special ribbon bookmark. Or if
Can
they
you hold that up again? Because it's got it's got the little book on the end of
It's
it.
got, yes, the ribbon bookmarks that I give away. There's a wonderful woman on Etsy who does these for me. She's incredible, and so she shrinks the covers, and then on each of the books she includes a special charm. So like with Soldier's Unexpected Family, there's a little military charm. And then with A Ranger for the Twins, there are little animals, including a little pig, because that book features
Yeah.
miniature pigs, Fred and Ethel. And then with The Sheriff's Second Chance, she alternated between sheriff badges and dogs, because the heroine adopts and rescues a big dog named Bo who likes chili dogs.
Yeah. I remember. That is so cool.
So, and there are, little giveaways, like I love to give out bookmarks and send my readers pens and fun little things. But there's always a recipe and some book recommendations and a giveaway.
That's great. That's really great. And in the description section, there'll be more information about that so that our viewers can take advantage of some of those great giveaways. And if you haven't already, be sure and check out the blog on my website with Tanya's full interview. And it gives us the story behind the stories and more information on her book, her newest book, The Soldier's Unexpected Family. Now, at first I thought that maybe this was the last one in the Hollydale series, but because you're starting on a new series, but it's still, Hollydale still is involved.
Yep. And the hero of book 4, which will be coming out in October of this year, which is called The Single Dad's Holiday Match. If anybody has read A Ranger for the Twins, my favorite line in that actually comes from Vanessa Maxwell, who, when she's talking to the hero about pancakes, she asks him where he learned everything and was surprised that he didn't learn on YouTube. And so Vanessa and her sister Izzy will be back with their dad, who is Jonathan Maxwell, who is a police officer. And 5 years ago, he saw his wife die in an automobile accident. And now he's moved to Hollydale to become more involved in their lives again and to flee the memory of his wife. And he finds that Hollydale is not ready to let him be alone. And there is a group of the Mimosa matchmakers who are determined to make sure that he finds his holiday match. And enter Brooke Novak, who is the new community center director, who has quite a story of her own. So I'm really excited about Jonathan getting his own book.
I love it. And I hope there are going to be more things about the Pie Ladies, because I love the Pie Ladies.
Hyacinth and Belinda both make appearances in the Single Dad's Holiday Match.
Yay! Well, I thought it'd be nice for our viewers if you read the first page of your newest book.
The Soldier's Unexpected Family. Chapter 1. This is going to be so much fun. Natalie Harrison flipped over the plans for the parade float and then twisted the papers one more time. Now the images were right side up, although she'd much prefer to toss the schematics in the park's trash can and start with a new and exciting design. Something with pizzazz and flair. And Aunt Natalie, are you lying? Danny tugged on her floral sundress, the pleading in his voice stopping her in her tracks. She laid the plans on a nearby picnic table. The summer breezes from the North Carolina mountains cooled the morning air and her bare arms. She glanced at her 6-year-old ward and sent him a smile. Of course I'm not. My mom told me it isn't nice to lie. Natalie brushed away a strand of her red hair along with the wave of grief at the mere mention of Danny's mom. Shelby Murphy had been her best friend since their college days. 3 months hadn't dulled the ache left from Shelby's sudden death from an undetected brain aneurysm. As long as Natalie lived, she'd never forget opening her front door and finding Danny there, out of breath, tears cascading down his cheeks, saying his mom wasn't waking up.
Mm.
With the 4th of July fast approaching in 2 weeks, Natalie would do everything in her power to make it a great day for Danny.
Mm. Oh, so we've got emotion, we've got fun. You already get a sense of just the culture and climate of this Hollydale. So very, very cool. Now, one of the things that I wanted to talk about here is some of your own stories. And one of the things I asked Tanya is, what are some of the things that people don't know about you? And we saw in your bio that you traveled quite a bit, and that was because your father was in the military?
Okay. He was in the Air Force.
In the Air Force. Oh, I used to work for a colonel, Air Force colonel. While my husband was going to school, I worked at the ROTC detachment, Air Force detachment. So I love the Air Force.
So do I.
I thought you were talking about that when they bought the children's books for you, like Dr. Seuss, they bought them for you in Germany. And I thought it'd be fun to see the book that you received while you were overseas with your parents.
My dad being in the Air Force, we transferred a lot. Before I was 3, we lived in Biloxi and South Carolina, and then he was transferred to Germany. And while we were there, they couldn't find books in English, but they did finally find them that they were printed in Great Britain. So I still have, whenever we moved, I got to have one box of books, and the Dr. Seuss books were always at the bottom of the box. But this was The Cat in the Hat Comes Back. And the really cool thing that I didn't realize until my kids received a copy from somebody else for one of their birthdays was that when it says, "This is very bad news. Now the spot is all over Dad's 7-pound shoes." That's in the American version, it's $10, but it's really cool that in The Cat in the Hat Comes Back, it said 7-pound shoes. In Dr. Seuss's ABCs, the Painting Pink Pajamas were PYJAMAS. And in The Digging Us Dog, which is another of the similar books, but it's by, I think, Al Perkins, plow is spelled PLOUGH. So it was just always, it was always like, wait, do I keep this book or that book? But yeah, my Dr. Seuss, Trixie Belden, and a book called Scruffy is still downstairs because those were things that books I couldn't bear to part with.
Well, and they all have history, and they carry memories of your time with your parents, and which is very cool.
And I love reading to kids at school, so I always, on Dr. Seuss Day, this was one of the books I always took in. So whenever I did, my mom wrote my name, and then I wrote each of my kids' names under it.
Oh, show me that. Can you show that again?
Yep.
Oh, that is really sweet. And then when you have grandkids, you'll have them there as well. Oh. So, what are some other things about Tanya that we might not know?
Well, I love to walk. So I went to the University of Georgia, and for the University of Georgia, you have to have a PE requirement. And my husband took ballroom dancing and badminton, but I took the you could take one class and get it all out of the way. So I took walking. And a friend of mine from Georgia Tech said, what was the prerequisite to that, crawling? And I said, no, it is an actual real class. We had a different route each day of the week. And by the end of the week, it was hillier and longer. So that was when I first really started thinking of story every time I would walk. That was when I would create stories and think about fiction and the conflict and the hero and heroine. So that's one of the first places where I really knew that this was something I wanted to really do.
That's true, because that we live so much inside of our heads. So walking, that's why I love walking as well, is that we can continue to live in our head and then have other outside stimulation of God's beauty, but we can still be in our heads.
Yeah.
So also, I I think you mentioned something about that you are a music lover and how you came to be a music lover.
My parents love music. They would even when they moved through the military, they made sure they had the latest. They had a reel-to-reel player and a record player. And my first job as a kid was I was the official record flipper. So I would know at the end of like Roberta Flack's Color Me, the Color Me Softly, I would know exactly which song was the last of side A so I could flip it. And my mom was a huge Beatles and Barbra Streisand fan, so I knew all of the Beatles albums and when to flip them. And as a result, they took me on a lot of concerts when I was young. They were very young, so if they couldn't get a babysitter, I got to see Bachman Turner Overdrive and a lot of groups from the 70s. That was so much fun.
BTO, I cannot believe a little kid went to a BTO concert. I just can't get over that.
And as a result, I love music of all types of music, and that's one of my favorite things to listen to. I been to my aunt was part of a hotel that was in Pennsylvania, and she booked the entertainment acts. So whenever we visited my aunt in Pittsburgh, we would always get to go and have the best seats. So we saw America, and when they did the song Magic, they did there was a little magic act on stage with them and a horse with no name. And it was really cool because everyone, we got the best treatment because everyone's like, oh, her aunt, works here. So that was cool. And my dad and I in high school, we would go to Bryan Adams concerts together. And
Wow.
my parents and I went to Olivia Newton-John together and Billy Joel. So
wow,
concerts are so fun to go to. And but it's also orchestra. It's really, there's something very beautiful about the classical music and the way that all the instruments harmonize together.
It's like a book. It's like a story.
All the elements come together in perfect unison, and when it comes together, you're in awe of such a beautiful thing. So
I love it. I love it. Well, Tanya has orchestrated a wonderful, generous offer for us, and that is she's giving away a free copy of The Soldier's Unexpected Family, and she will sign it over to you, and which is kind of nice. And then if you already have this book, which you probably don't because it's coming out officially.
It's on harlequin.com now, and then on March 1st, it comes out on Kindle, and then on March 8th, you can order it in print from, there's my dog. That was Linus's snout. And then on March 8th, you can get it in large, in print from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and your major retailers.
Excellent. Excellent. So here's the really cool thing is you can increase your chances of winning this book by doing a few things. First of all, the fact that you're watching this video, if you like it and make a comment, you get one entry. If you share the video with your friends on any of the social media, or if you email your friends and say, you've got to see Tanya, she's been interviewed, then you also get another entry. And then if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you get 2 extra entries. And then if you go over to the blog interview, then same thing applies. If you like and comment, you get an additional entry. If you share, you get an additional entry. And then if you subscribe to my newsletter, you get 2 entries. So that's a total of six chances to win this great book, and you will love this book. And the drawing will be held Friday, March 12th. And I'm really excited. So, Tanya, do you have any final words before we sign off?
Thank you. Romance, I think, is such a wonderful genre to read because of the hope, and there are often themes of second chances, redemption, and that's really touched home for me. My daughter has a rare disease called VHL, von Hippel-Lindau syndrome, which is a cancer-causing genetic condition which causes tumors in the inner ear, brain, pancreas, and kidneys. And part of what they recommend for VHL patients is that they have yearly MRI scans. And when you're a parent, I was able to go in with her for the scans, and you're not allowed to have anything metal on you or anything like that, but I could always take in a book. And I always reached for my romance stack because I always knew that while I was in that room, there'd be a happily ever after. There'd be happiness. There'd be conflict, and it would be, tugging
Challenges.
emotion.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, at the end of the day, as a parent in that room, I needed that hope and that happy feeling. And I think romance is such a wonderful genre to provide that happy feeling for people.
So you have a passion for that for your readers to be able to come away, their takeaway from one of your books is hope. And I love that. I love that, Tanya. So thanks for watching the 3rd episode of Author Highlight with Terri. And once again, down below are all of the links, helpful links. And also, if you can like, share, and friend on the various social media icons there and the links, that's greatly appreciated as well, especially for authors. We appreciate BookBub follows. We really do, because that is a great resource for readers, and to have lots of reader support is great. So next month is the Author Highlight blog and YouTube interview will feature award-winning author Sherri Wilson Johnson, who's also a member of our ACFW group. And I'm looking forward to that. But thanks again for watching. God bless, and keep reading.